better angles for that. Right. And my phone fell. And now I have to climb through the sidecar. Do you know what I'll do? Motorbike licenses. Let's talk about them because I think I am stuck. I can't. I'm still stuck. There we go. Let's try it again. Motorbike licenses. Let's talk about them. How many is there? 3. There are 3 modules to your motorbike test. There is your AM, which is a moped up to 50cc with or without pedals and restricted to 26 miles per hour, I think. And then there's A1, which is up to 125cc and I believe 40 kilowatts. And no restriction on speed because they're restricted via engine. And then there's the A2, which is a test that I am going to be doing sometime later this year. Where do I begin? Motorbike tests. There is a car going by. Let me wait for that to go by. So it's going to pick up because I'm on my phone. Motorbike tests are extortionate. The government do not want us on the roads because I have to pay £250 per day because it's a 3-day course to get my A2 motorbike licence. And then, because I'm not taking the progressive route, because I am taking the progressive route, I will have to do that again in 2 years' time to get my full A licence. And on top of that, I also have to pay for my theory test and my CBT, and the CBT is a compulsory basic training. I cannot be on the road without a valid CBT or a valid test. They don't want me on roads. Motorbike gear. Over £100 for second-hand things. I get it. It pays a lot to be safe. That's why I'm getting all of my stuff second-hand. But at the same time, why would they charge so much for something you need to stay alive? They don't charge you to put airbags in your car. So why would they charge you so much to get motorbike gear? Why not have it on deals? A motorbike helmet, which is the only thing you legally need unless you have the Sikh religion to ride a bike. Some of them are over £500 for something you can crash in and die. Because in the end of the day, motorbike riding is, don't get me wrong, it is incredibly dangerous. But at the same time, so is driving a car. Every time you go out on the road, as a car driver, as a motorbike rider, or as a cyclist or pedestrian, you are putting your life at risk. The government don't want young people to be riding bikes. If they did, they wouldn't make this progress, this whatever it is, so expensive. If you were deciding to ride from the time you were 16 and you wanted to take a test for every single module because you have people to carry or places to be, it would be $250 per 3-day course, and each test is a 3-day course. That's quite a lot of money for something you can do every 2 years. And if I only wanted to take one test, then I have to wait until I'm 24 years old. These are my granddad's bikes. I'm 19 nearly. I will be 19 in June. This is ridiculous. I'm not waiting until I'm 24. I am going to get my A2 licence by the end of this year if I can. But priced at £250 per day. I'm buying and selling cars this summer to afford it. But how can someone who's working 2 jobs while also balancing school and life, rent, groceries, how are they going to afford it? Because a motorbike is a cheaper runabout. You can pick up a good tax and MOT exempt motorbike for around £2,000. But to be able to ride that motorbike, you need to take your theory test, your CBT, your practical test. over £1,000 just in those three things, and then you have to insure it. Even if you've got a classic bike, you still need to insure it, and some insurance companies will charge 2 or 3 grand for your first year because you have no experience, especially if you don't have a car license. You have no road experience. And again, I think this is just awful and atrocious, because my car, if I wanted to drive my car for the first time, which I have, this is my first year driving it, this is my Peugeot 205, I'm going to say first actually. My Peugeot 205 for the first year insurance, if I chose to drive it immediately when I passed my test, would have been £2,800 for a car that's worth half of that. And yes, I get it. It's a big engine, but it's on half a throttle. It's a diesel. It's not going to get to 180 miles per hour. It won't even get to 90. Probably won't even get 70. We've never got 70 in this car since we've had it. And we've had it for 25 years. More than that. My Igo, on the other hand, that could probably do about 120 miles per hour. I have actually seen people have an Igo and get it up to those speeds. I have no idea how, but it's possible. If you have a good stretch of road, it is possible. I'm not saying go out and do this. I'm saying that how is a Toyota Igo 1,200 a year and it can go up to 120 miles per hour, yet a 205, which is already £360 a year to tax, compared to the Igo being free, is 2.5. It's ridiculous. So insurance is a horrible thing. And then if I wanted to drive the camper van, which is a rust bucket and would probably fall apart if we took it over a mile away, like, it's that bad, it needs that much work, that would be £800 a year. It's predatory. That's what it is. They don't care about your safety. They care about getting the money in their pockets. And yes, I know people under 24 are most likely to crash because they have no prior road experience. But at the same time, you have to put a little bit of trust. Yes, if they have a driving history, if they have a high power car, yes, they should be chanced more. But I can't afford paying 2.5, 3.5, 8.5 grand for a car that does 3,000 miles. My Land Rover, I get it. That's a high power vehicle and I can tow with it. So I get it. Maybe, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 grand insurance per year for my first year. No. For that Land Rover, I have been quoted £8,672 per year. That is shocking and disgusting. Motorbike. This motorbike here, which is a Jawa, a Jawa 250 Classic. It's a motorbike and sidecar outfit. If I were to have my full license, because of my age, I can ride this on an A2. Well, I will be able to at least. I did some messing about with the insurance quotes, made my age a bit older, just to see how much I'd be offered. 2.5 grand per year. Do you know how much these sell for? Scrap value, about £100, if that, probably about 80. Normal value, which this would not get because it has been sat for a few years now. Three or 4 years, I think. Probably be worth, I don't know, £900, maybe £1 grand. This bike gets 34 miles per gallon. What's up? Oh, my dogs are yapping. What's going on? What's going on? Swimming. Is that actually someone at the gates? What's that? What are you doing? What's wrong? Look at you. Do you want to come here and help? I'm making a video, darling. Do you want to come here? Come on then. Come on. She has been in this motorbike. You coming up? Oh my gosh. Hi, Pearly. Hi. You want to come up? If you go round, there's actually a way. There's actually a step on the side. Darlings, dogs say. But insurance is, as I said, predatory. My Sierra, my Ford Sierra, which in classic car insurance should be cheaper because it is an oncoming classic. It is about, in 5 years, no, 4 years now, going to be tax and MOT exempt. And I understand it's rear-wheel drive. Flo, that is not helping. I understand it is rear-wheel drive. I understand that it's got a crap engine. But if I'm going 2,000 miles a year with it, if that, because I would be towing it, not towing with it, towing it, why are you going to be charging me $7,500 for a Ford Sierra? And yes, I understand it goes off of what other people my age have. Not many people my age have a Ford Sierra Sapphire GLX. I know because there's only 12 on the road. And I know the majority of who those belong to. They're old men. I'm a young girl. So they can't even plead that way. My 205, it's an Inca D. And yeah, quite a few girls my age actually have them, funnily enough. I don't know why, but we do. It doesn't go that far. Yes, I understand. But I was last quoted, I think it was £2,300 to go 5,000 miles. However, I was quoted £1,600 to go 10,000 miles. So hang on a minute. How am I quoted more for going less miles, but less for going more miles? That doesn't make sense. And I know I'm talking about car insurance, but car insurance is the first-hand experience I have. Now back onto motorbikes. Motorbikes, they're just ridiculous. Most of them are underpowered because they have no ratios and stuff. I'm not the best with two-strokes, if I'm honest, because all I've ever worked on is four-stroke, and I'm in college learning it. So if I'm wrong, don't judge me. I'm learning. We have a motorbike in our garage, a 250cz. I absolutely love the bike. If I were to ride it on classic motorbike insurance, £2,500. I don't remember how many miles per gallon that does, but I'm pretty sure it does 50 miles per gallon. So it does worse than my car. My car gets 77. This car here that you're actually propped up on gets 90. I think the best bike we have for miles per gallon wise does 120 miles per gallon, which is amazing. But at the same time, what's the point in having good miles per gallon if petrol prices are loads? And then you also have to get two-stroke oil and lead replacements. And do you know, they tax two-stroke oil. They count it as a fuel. And they've also, actually, I can tell you this is what one of my teachers told me, they've stopped developing on two-stroke technology because of the environment. In a minute, they are probably going to cancel the over 40 years tax and MOT exemptions. I understand that. I understand how every car on the road should have an MOT because it is a safety measure before anything. But taxing it, it's ridiculous. My Morris Minor, 1961, it's been parked up since 1986, just after the DVLA registered it. It was parked up with a fresh MOT. To tax it, it used to be £45 per year. Quite a lot back in those days. But oh well. I know because I've got a document that says the tax. Hang on. Because I haven't registered as historical yet, and I don't know if I will, to tax it, it would be, I think it was something, I think it was 400 and something for a classic vehicle. So that means if they were to put it back in, I don't want to be paying more tax. I don't want to be paying more tax. My lorry, prime example, I know, it's a lorry, it's a heavy goods vehicle, commercial vehicle, used for private circumstances, £760 per year if I wish to tax it. This whole taxing thing, it's a scheme because they don't help our roads. I have spent over, how much is it? Over £150 in the past year on tyres. Because I have been pushed into potholes, I have found potholes, and the potholes have found my tyres. I contacted the council, they said, tough luck, you should have drove better. Well, I'm sorry, next time I'll drive into the Mini that is cutting me off. Or, oh, I'm sorry, next time I won't go 2 miles per hour over it, I'll just float and fly over it. I wouldn't have a problem paying road tax if it went to the development of our roads. The road that I live along is an unlimited road. No, unlimited 60. But the road condition, you could probably go on a good day about 40. The fastest I've gone along with it is 35. And then people get pissed off at me for going 35 in a 60. But I can't not go 35 in a 60 because my tyres are tiny. I have 14-inch tyres and a car that weighs nothing. What can I do? What's up, darling? I understand. My Land Rover, that's got blowouts. That's had blowouts from potholes. So it's not just my car. It's not just my Igo. And it's not just because I'm a bad driver. Yes, I may be a bad driver, but that still doesn't affect how the roads are. The road conditions are bad for what they are. And electric vehicles don't help this. Every car past 2016 pays £190 per tax per year. I think they should pay more. I understand they're doing the new tax per mile scheme. I understand that. But at the same time, that is not enough. I don't believe in the tax per mile scheme because, well, I understand it if you've got an electric vehicle. If you've got an electric vehicle, tax per mile, that's pretty good because you're not paying a tax on fuel. But a hybrid, no, because you're already paying a tax for fuel. And it is, I do think hybrids, if they want a tax per mile, just put the road tax up. I'd prefer to pay £200 a year or maybe, I don't know, £250 a year instead of paying 13 pence for every mile. Because in the end, that does not end up economical. They all want to push us towards electric, yet they're not making electric affordable for us by taxing the crap out of it. My Igo does, on a good day, 77 miles to the gallon and is £20 a year to tax, which I need to do because my tax is going to run out in 3 days. That, and it's clean air zone exempt. This car here, this Peugeot 205, is not clean air zone exempt. It does 90 miles to gallon and is £360 a year to tax, going up, by the way. That camper van sat over there does 16 miles to the gallon. When you turn it on, there's smoke everywhere and you can't breathe. It's got no cap, it's got nothing to do with emissions, and it's got because the engine's in back, it hasn't got much of a muffler. So it's loud. It's loud, it's obnoxious, it's big, it's heavy. Yet that's clean air zone exempt. Clean air zone is a scam. Clean air zone is a frickin' scam. And same with the motorbikes. This motorbike here is 1995. It's an M-Reg. And it's clean air zone. It's not clean air zone compliant. Why? Because it's a two-stroke. Because it's a motorbike. It's loud, obnoxious and heavy and it's thirsty. Oh wait, no it's not. This has had an engine rebuild. So are most of the cars. So have most of the bikes in the garage. They've all had engine rebuilds. Their emissions are practically zero compared to that Igo, compared to this 205, compared to that Land Rover, compared to that Peugeot, compared to that, this produces nothing. This produces probably about 40 grams per kilometre of emissions. I think that's the right term, isn't it? If it isn't, tell me. Yet this isn't clean air zone compliant. This motorbike and sidecar may have actually influenced Wallace and Gromit, because fun fact, my granddad used to ride around in a red motorcycle. It wasn't this one, but it was red and it was a Jawa, in a type of motorbike that Wallace and Gromit had, and they're from Bristol and they used to go out and observe people. That's how it was inspired. And my granddad used to have a dog, Wilhelm II. Absolute horrible dog. Anything that moved he bit, and anything that didn't he cocked his leg on. That type of dog. He would sit in a sidecar with goggles on, like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. No, it might have been Gromit. I haven't watched Wallace and Gromit in quite a few years and I'm a little bit tired. The sun's out, so I'm wasting all of my energy talking to my phone. But as I said, motorbikes are predatory because they don't want you riding a bike. Yes, there's the things like you die. You are, I think it's something like 10 times more likely to die every time you ride out on a motorbike than in a car, because if someone hits you from the side, you are going straight into the side. In that car, that Peugeot 205 with no safety standards, if someone hits you from the side, you have a door there. That door may splinter into you and kill you, but in the end, it's still there. And the same with that camper van. That camper van, if someone goes into the front of you head on, you have that's actually a bad example. It's a flat face, so everything just goes into you. That's a bad example. But on this, you have nothing. This doesn't even have a deflector. And the reason why the cover's half off is can't be bothered to get it off because this bike currently does not run because somebody sabotaged it. Story for another time. But this does not have a visor. So if someone comes into you head on, you are dying. No matter how much gear you have, it's going to stop that. In theory, unless you have like the airbag jeans and the airbag body and an airbag head. Like, you cannot survive a major motorbike accident. My granddad was hit from the rear. It was a simple hit and rear on his motorbike. And he was sat at some traffic lights. A guy behind, this was in 2006, so it was before phones, just went into the back of him, pushed him forward. He flew off onto the pavement and got hurt really bad. It turns out he had several broken ribs, something to do with his lungs, and it really has set him up for life. And he's got a bad back now. We should have claimed more, but my granddad, being the mechanic he is, said no to the ambulance, got out and rode the bike home. We think if he actually got into the ambulance, went to the hospital and stuff, we would have got paid out more, because he needed help. And I think that's one of the reasons why he struggles now, because of that accident. It's still affecting him nearly 20 years later. It is 20 years later. I turn 20 next year. And even funnier, it was exactly a year and 1 day before I was born. So, I've never known him not have pain, and every time I see him in pain, it just makes me angry. And yes, I understand that's why motorbikes are dangerous, but he went out fully knowing that could happen. When I go out on a motorbike, I will go out knowing that will happen. That could happen. And I have coagulation issues, I have mobility issues. I know that if I get into an accident, it could kill me. But at the end of the day, you only live once. And if you want to live, then go and live your life. But you can't if the government is charging you £250 per day for a 3-day course to get your license. So I could either wait until I'm 24 and do one test, or I can wait until June, do my theory test, and then get my full license, and then be able to go up to 650, because bar one bike, all of my bikes are 650, below 650. I know what bike I'm going to be using on my test. It's a 350 NZ. Could even be this one without a sidecar, but it's not going to be. I need to restore that one yet, but the option is there. I know what bike I am doing for my next test. It's my 850 Yamaha Special, and I am in love with that bike. I'm going to put this sidecar on. I'm either going to put this sidecar or another sidecar. So I'm going to put this sidecar's frame with a different body on. But I can't do that if I can't get my license. Unfortunately, they don't want us on the road. That's all I can say. They don't want you towing anymore. They don't want people towing people. Like, I can only tow up to, I think it's 2,700 tons. So I can't tow a Land Rover. I can't use that Land Rover to its full capacity. But I'm probably never going to. It's probably not very likely that I'm going to tow that Land Rover on a trailer. What I will be towing is something on the back of my lorry. Again, lorry licenses, that's another thing. I want to get my HGV license, and lessons alone are £100 per hour. So where can I go from this? They want more lorry drivers. They want more motorbike riders, because they want the motorbike riders to be delivery drivers. They don't want motorbike riders, but they don't know that society actually thrives off motorbike riders. You wouldn't be able to get your Deliveroo, your Pizza Express, your Domino's, your Papa John's, your McDonald's. You won't be able to get any of that without a motorbike. Unless you've got someone who's very stupid and is using their car. Because in the end, a motorbike is going to be faster. Even if it's a 50cc, if you're in the middle of a city, it's better. Don't forget how little road space motorbikes take up. In the space of one car, you could probably squeeze about 6 motorbikes, especially with the modern cars. Alright, maybe if you're looking at a Toyota Aygo, it would probably be 4 motorbikes. But still, that's a hell of a lot more. You can fit 4 motorbikes into one car space, but you can't fit 4 cars into one motorbike space. And because of how good on fuel they are, it makes everything a little bit better because it makes the economy thrive a little more. But you can't ride a bike if there's no bike to ride. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but I just think this whole thing is ridiculous. I think they should make it easier for you to get your motorbike license, because in the end they're trying to push independence, but at the same time they're restricting us. New drivers, they're proposing they can't go, they're proposing new drivers can't drive after 11 p.m. What about people on night shifts? You can't have people under, I think it's 21 in your car when you've just passed your test. What about single parents? What about the lower class? Because they don't realise that not everyone lives in a mansion. They don't realise at all. They don't realise that most of us are working whenever we're not at school. Most of us don't have time to restore these cars. They're saying take everything to the scrapyard because that is what they want to do in the end. They want to scrap perfectly good cars. It's waste. Our government is wasting it. This is going to be a rant video, but it needs to be. This needs to be a rant video, because if no one else rants about it, what's the point? If we can't speak up, then why are we staying silent? We can't speak up. They don't want us to speak up, but because we can right now, we will. Because at the end of the day, it's you. It's how it starts. I'm just a random girl on the internet. You don't know my life. You don't know my experiences. You don't know how I got here. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate to have a granddad. I'm very fortunate to have my granddad. He's got so many bikes. He's got so many cars. Currently on the driveway, there are 4 cars. Usually there's 6. No. Usually there's 5. You can probably count this as a car. In our garage, we've probably got about 6 motorbikes. 7 including this one. Don't start. We've got motorbikes coming out of our ears. We've got engines. We've got stationary engines. We've got everything. We've got trailers. There's my trailer on the driveway. My brand new trailer, which isn't brand new. It's brand new to me. We've got my camper van. We've got the store bench. We've got dogs. We've got my mobility scooter. We've got tyres. We've got seats. We've got everything. I'm lucky. I know I am lucky, because if I was not this lucky, I wouldn't be able to afford anything. I can barely afford fuel in my car right now sometimes, but I persevere. I make money online. This is the only way I make money, which is online, and I don't make much. I probably make about £60 a month, which doesn't sound like much, but it gets me through. But because of my 205, I'm going over budget. I've got credit cards. I've got everything. And if I want to go through my CBT, because that's what I'm going to be doing, I need more. I've got 25cc bikes, I've got 60cc bikes, I've got all types of bikes, and I can't ride them. And my granddad can't either. So what are they doing right now? They're sat rotting in a container. I think if you pass your test, your car test, you should be able to take a CBT and then a 1-day course, because you've already got the experience on the road. And a CBT takes a whole day. Right? Maybe a 2-day course, but maybe not at £250 per day. It's ridiculous and predatory. All the government want is money, because we're in debt. As a country, we're in debt. Why are we in debt? And why is it me who has to pay for it? Why do I have to pay for it? I'm 18. I'm 18 and I'm just debt-free. I'm only just debt-free. How am I supposed to live in a future that doesn't like me? They want to lower my minimum wage. Minimum wage already isn't enough to put fuel in my car. Minimum wage isn't enough to feed me. Minimum wage can't get me to even be in a shitty apartment down in the suburbs of wherever, in the crappiest town. Not even city. I couldn't even dream of a city at £1,000 a month. Bath, which is my local city, they've had brand new apartment complexes, and I watched them be built. They're over £1,000 a month. A month. How am I supposed to afford that if I'm earning £7 an hour? They want us to do apprenticeships. Yet we can't. £7 an hour isn't enough. If they want us to be qualified, they need to be putting more into the youth. They need to stop. They're leaving the middle out. The people who are financially stable. When I say financially stable, I mean they're earning way too much. Like, I'm not talking a million. I'm talking about 3 million per, I don't know, every 6 months. That's 6 million a year. If you're earning over several million a year, then why aren't we taking money from them? I'm not saying tax the rich. I'm saying tax the super rich, the wealthy, the people who don't know what to do with their money. Because I don't think billionaires should exist in our society. I don't think I should be having to pay for our debt that I was born into. I don't think the UK is right now, especially what's going on in America. We're going to follow in their footsteps if we're not careful. That's not opinion, that is fact. That is fact, unfortunately. And I don't want that to be fact. Because if we follow in the footsteps of America, I'm not making it out alive. Because I need medication to survive. I need my medication to survive. And it's not, I need it because I genuinely need it. If I do not have it, I will get a blood clot and I will die. That is how severe this is. If we follow America and we go to what some government bodies are trying to do right now and privatise healthcare, I will die. I will just drop down dead. Literally. If I stop taking my medication because I can't afford it, I can die. The same with diabetics, same for all the people who are on lifelong medication. If the government wants to privatise healthcare, which is what they're doing, we're going to die. Think about it. Now I'm going to get stuck because I've managed and I haven't. I can't reach. How long is that? 31 minutes.